Since seeing the Odyssey on Sunday in IMAX, of course, I have been receiving a lot of messages about the movie, asking me what I thought. As many of you know, I love classical studies. I love the Greeks. I love the Greeks, and I love Greek mythology. So this is super cool to share. So if you haven't seen it, don't watch this until afterwards, because there's a couple of spoilers. It is a good movie. Christopher Nolan again has pulled out all the stops, but it is not an excellent film. It is not an excellent, exceptional retelling of the Odyssey. And I have a few observations that I've made during the film and then in deep contemplation afterwards. The first thing I want to share is something that I saw throughout the film, which is a catch-22. Christopher Nolan does really well. It's visceral. It is such an amazing craft that he does to make something feel like it is actually happening or is in the past. However, in a story like the Odyssey, the sense of wonder and magic and myth and mystery is a core part of its heart and why it has stood the test of time for all these years. It's been stripped back a bit too much, meaning that the reality sort of usurps the fantasy. And if I compare it to maybe like the Skywalker Star Wars saga and of course Middle-earth and Lord of the Rings, these are real characters but in extraordinary situations. Magic and darkness, great huge beasts and everything like this. We have beasts, we have mystery. In the Nolan version of the Odyssey, that sense of awe is a little bit pulled out, pushed to the side. The next element, and maybe the most important, is its casting and the depiction of its star character, Odysseus. Nothing against Matt Damon, but I do think his casting led a little bit down the track of how Odysseus is portrayed. He is an amazing navigator. He is an adored king, but also he was a he was self-serving, he was vain, he was arrogant, and he was sometimes the victim of his own choosing. He created moments of his own that created big calamity to himself and to his crew. And in fact, he did some pretty bad things. And I always thought, in my reading of the Odyssey, it is actually the depiction of the human self. It is really just us, of all our faults, all the things we're not good at, all the things we choose and do. We can't be perfect all the time. We can't always be well-intentioned all the time. And Odysseus was anything but the perfect king. And this version of Odysseus, he's just too moral. He has this effort to bring his crew home, which of course is a strong theme, but he did really create a lot of their problems along their vast journey. And he was a philanderer. He loved the ladies. He got caught up with Calypso. And so being moral is something that we struggle with as in humanity. But we also need to see what we don't do well, and sometimes the repercussions of those actions and decisions. We need it to be a bit like Darth Vader. You need to love Odysseus and you need to loathe Odysseus at the same time, which makes his final mission so much more important. There's another point, and it's very much important to the narrative and the challenge of Odysseus and his crew. In fact, after meeting Polyphemus and escaping the Cyclops, they traveled again for many days. He was given a bag of wind and kept it with him. And he didn't allow the crew to see what was in the bag. He was not allowed to open the bag, and it blew him close to Ithaca. And he came round the cape and was in sight of the villagers and the fishermen. But the crew opened the bag. They were skeptical of Odysseus holding treasure or gold for himself and not sharing it. And because the bag was open, the winds, the great mighty winds of the Aegean, the Mediterranean, whipped up a massive storm and blew them thousands of kilometers away, restarting their entire journey. And for me, just imagining what this would look like on film, what this would feel like, was of great excitement, but sadly abandoned in the script. It's about being so close to the end of your journey, your successes, and then life whips you away, tumbles you away in a massive storm which you cannot even fathom where you are, and you have to restart your journey again, like many of us, to get us back on track. And this is not a criticism, but it's more of an observation again. Just like Robin Hood and many ancient tales, the idea of Homer as a singular person writing the Odyssey has not really been supported for a long time. I think it would have been lovely to have actually had Homer's with an apostrophe after the S as a way of describing the title of the movie, The Odyssey, because then it would have encapsulated all the bards, all the storytellers of the world over thousands of years who have contributed to this story. So that was more of a little thing. A couple of spoilers in there, but you can see now how I feel. It's a great film, but it's not an excellent film. It is not a film that will be the Odyssey of the ages.